What's going on, everyone? Coach Aaron here, back in another video. In this video today, I want to go over the latest news that's going on in the sport of powerlifting, which is something that I've done time to time. And there's been quite a bit of news going on in the past few months, but I didn't really feel like putting in a video together because I felt like everyone was pretty much aware of what was going on in the situation, and everyone was just waiting for the process to go through step by step. So I figured now, once everything's kind of settled down and we're going into this new year, 2022, and the higher level competitions are coming up, whether it's national, continental, or world championship, is let's go over some of the news, some of the things that happened in case you may have missed it, and what's coming down the line. And then in future videos, I can go break it down further more of like the IPF side and then the USAPL side. So obviously the big news was that the IPF went ahead and suspended USA Powerlifting, USAPL, which was the US affiliate for the IPF. So they, went ahead and did the suspension, and then no lifters were able to go to Worlds. Some lifters switched over to the US Virgin Islands, which is its own member nation, recognized as a member nation by the IOC, and the IPF follows the IOC guidelines for member nations. So some people were able to go to compete, but a lot of people were not. And then at the Open Worlds, which is the equipped side, not the raw classic side, they had a meeting, an emergency meeting or extraordinary meeting, how they call it, and they did a vote to eliminate USAPL as the US affiliate. And then sometime after that, during that same week, the IPF Executive Committee met up to put in Powerlifting America, which is the name of the new US affiliate now for the IPF. So now USAPL is completely separate. It's not associated with any kind of international body as of now. And then now Powerlifting America, which is a brand new federation that started from zero and is building its way up, is now the US affiliate for anyone in the US that wants to get to an IPF international competition. So let's quickly go through from the international level, starting with the world champions, work our way down to the continental, national, and local level, and go through both the IPF and the USAPL side a little bit of what's coming ahead. So on the IPF side, there's quite a bit of world championships coming down the line soon, starting in May, because now they're kind of moving everything back to their normal schedule, whereas last year they tried to shift everything to the end of the year to work around the pandemic. So for now, they're hoping that they can stick with a more normal schedule. So coming in May is going to be the Benchpress World Championships in Kazakhstan. That'll be the first world championship, and from there it goes into the Classic Open Powerlifting World Championships in South Africa, and then the IWA, International World Games Association, World Games in July here in Birmingham, USA. So the World Games is kind of like the Olympics, but for non-Olympic sports. So powerlifting is not in Olympics, but it is in the World Games. And just like the Olympics, it's every 4 years. So this is a special event that happened back in 2017 in Poland. And then now with the pandemic, everything is happening in 2022 here in the US. From there, we also have the Fiji University Cup, which is going to eventually lead into the University World Games, similar to the World Games, which is for the open age division. And for equipped, you're going to have a University World Games for university lifters. And so this is going to be the first time Fiji is going to be running this University World Cup, and that's also going to be in July. And then in the back half of the year, you have the Sub-Junior and Junior World Championships, which is going to be classic and equipped combined. That's going to be in the end of August, early September in Ecuador. And then you have the Masters Powerlifting World Championship, again, classic and equipped combined, which is going to be in October in Canada. And then we finish off the year with the Open Worlds, which is the open age division, and the open equipment, which is the Equipped World Championships. It's going to be in November like it normally is, and it's going to be in Denmark. So for those of you that like the IPF side and like looking at the World Championships, you're going to have a lot of World Championships coming down the line starting in May, going all the way through November for all the various age divisions. And you're going to have a little bit of different stuff going on this year compared to previous years, with the World Games going on, which is going to be the highest level competition for those equipped lifters that are going to be going head to head in these super weight classes, where they basically combine two weight classes into one and then do it based off of points. Plus, we're going to have now the split on the classic side, where the sub-juniors and juniors are now going to be combined with the equipped sub-juniors and juniors, and then the masters raw or classic, however you want to call it, are going to be combined with the masters equipped. So the classic open powerlifting is going to be its own separate championship now, just like for Open Worlds, which was the equipped open powerlifting, has always been its own separate championship. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out with those splitting in those age divisions, and then throwing in that World Games in there in the middle of the year. And just a quick note, something that I heard, none of this is guaranteed, but the word I heard was that IPF EC had a meeting at the end of January to discuss whether they wanted to keep the Bench Worlds in Kazakhstan and the Classic Open Powerlifting in South Africa. So they're discussing whether they should keep it, whether they should move it, that kind of stuff. And they decided to keep the Bench Worlds in Kazakhstan and keep the Classic Open Powerlifting Worlds in South Africa. I don't know if they've talked about the other ones, but potentially they could be talking about other ones like the University World Cup being in Russia, since there are some political issues going on there with potentially Russia invading Ukraine, and maybe some countries will not want to send their university students there. So something that may change, but as of now, they decided again to keep Kazakhstan and South Africa on the schedule. From there, when you go down to the continental level, there's going to be quite a bit of continental championships. For some of the regions like Europe, they split them up into multiple championships. Here in North America, we split it into the full power and the bench press. So for those of you here in North America that are wondering about that, you do have in August the powerlifting North American championships in Panama, and then you have the bench press Pan American championships, which is North America and South America combined, in October in Puerto Rico. And to see all these dates and locations and the other regional championships, then you can always just go to the IPF website, powerlifting.sport, go look at the calendar, and you can see everything that's listed on there for 2022 and what could be potentially coming down the line for 2023 and 2024. For example, if you look at the calendar for 2023, there is a bid in there for the Classic Open Powerlifting World Championships right here in Florida. It's either going to be in Fort Lauderdale or Orlando. And then when you look at the USAPL side, when we look at the national championships, since currently they don't have any international competitions, they're keeping a similar format as last year, where you're going to have the police, fire, military nationals as a separate event. And then they're going to combine the teens and the high schools into a teen and high school national championship. And then they're going to combine the juniors and the collegiate lifters into a junior and collegiate combined national championship. And then they're going to have a separate nationals, mega nationals, what they're calling it. That's going to be in Las Vegas. And that's going to be the masters, both the raw and equipped. It's going to be the open, both the raw and equipped. And then it's going to be the bench press nationals, all the age divisions, and then the youth nationals. And while typically the high school nationals and collegiate nationals are separate, and even when they combine the teens into the high school and they combine the juniors into the collegiate, it was separate. This year now, they're going to basically put them side by side as far as the schedule and do it in the same location. So they're both going to be in Lombard, Illinois, with the high school and teen nationals being the first few days, and then going right into the collegiate and junior nationals the next few days. So for someone who is a coach or whatever like that that's going to attend that, if you have athletes that are in both, you're going to be there for the whole week. If you have people that are just in the high school, then you might be there for a few days at the beginning, or if you have people that are in the collegiate, you're going to be there for a few days at the end. And then with the mega nationals, it's all combined again too as far as the schedule, similar to last year. So again, if you have someone who's in youth or bench press or open or masters, then you may be there for the whole week, versus if you have someone just in one specific thing, like let's say for bench, then you may just show up for that bench nationals portion of it. And then obviously you don't have to stay to the very end when they have the full power, like open and masters and that kind of stuff. And then you can see from the schedule, I have the graphic up there that a lot of these national championships are coming up in March. So even if you include the Arnold Sports Festival, which is a national level competition and you can break American records there, that's going to be in the beginning of March. Then you have the police, fire, and military nationals in the middle of March. And then you have that high school and teen nationals at the end of March, going right into the collegiate and junior nationals at the end of March as well. Then you get a little break in April and May, and you go into that mega nationals in June. And if we look at the Powerlifting America schedule, they do have all their nationals up. So now we can finally take a look at how they are scheduling everything, locations, dates, and everything like that. So the first one is going to be the Bench Press National Championship, because they need to get the roster ready in time for the Bench Press World, which is the first one on the calendar. So the Bench Press Nationals is going to be here in Florida and Orlando, and it's going to be the end of February 26th and 27th. Then the next one on the calendar as far as a world championship is that Classic Open Powerlifting. So they're going to have the Classic Open National Championship for Powerlifting America on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And that's going to be in Austin, Texas, right next to Alico headquarters. And they did some kind of deal with Alico. So they're probably going to use all the Alico equipment for that national championship. And so again, that's just going to be the open age division. And it's only going to be the classic or raw, whatever you want to call it. And then in the middle of June, June 18th, 19th, and 20th is where the rest of those age divisions are going to be, because again, those world championships are later in the year. So you're going to have the sub juniors, raw, and equipped. You're going to have the juniors raw and equipped. You're going to have the masters raw and equipped. And then you're going to have the open equipped, since the open classic is already separate. So that's going to be those rest of those age divisions and all those equipped divisions. So the only one that's not on this list is that collegiate or university division. So not exactly sure how they're going to select that team. There's nothing on the website that says it, but that is one of the earlier world championships, and it's not on the schedule for a national championship. So we'll see based on what meet and what criteria they're going to select teams or individual lifters to send to that world championship. But for all the other age divisions, both the raw and the equipped, the bench press and the full power, the national championships are up as far as date, the locations, the schedule, and everything like that. And for their bench team, they do have the selection criteria on that. So you can go to the website and read the criteria specifically for the bench team in case you want to make that one. For the other ones, they don't have anything up yet. And then for regional level within the US, so different regions in the US, there's nothing on the calendar for both USAPL and Powerlifting America. Powerlifting America obviously is new, and they're just focusing on obviously the national level and then building up the local level. So they probably won't have anything regional anytime soon, or maybe never. And then on the USAPL side, it is something that they were doing before the pandemic. They haven't done anything since then. I don't know if they're going to bring anything back. I haven't seen anything from it, but they may be shifting more towards this Pro Series with these expos that they have. So it used to be called the Europa Expo. Now they're called the UBU Expos. So there's one here in Florida, there's one over in Texas, and there's one in Arizona. So those could be considered, a regional level event as far as they're not a national level event, but they are part of the Pro Series. So there's going to be lifters coming from around the country to enter into those competitions to compete in the Pro Series and get points to go to the Pro Series final. And it looks like there's going to be some section for anyone. So for here in Florida, we already have some local level lifters that maybe can't qualify for nationals or aren't part of the Pro Series because they don't have a pro card, but they can still enter the regular event for the UBU Expo here in Florida, and the same thing for Texas and Arizona. So you're going to get a mix of levels and different people coming from around the country for these UBU Expos. So you can kind of consider that a regional level event. And then we'll see long term if they want to bring back in any regional championships and have a battle of the regions at the Arnold like they've done in the past. And looking at some federations outside the US for any of my international people, it seems like there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts depending on the pandemic and cases and vaccination rates, all that kind of stuff. So in Canada, they were supposed to have their national championship in March, but they've already delayed that into May, and we'll see if they can keep it in May or if they have to delay it again. And as far as those teams where they have to build the roster 60 days out from World Championship, like the Classic Worlds, how they're going to select that team. I also have a lifter who's in Germany, and their nationals got delayed from March into summer. They didn't even give a month yet. They just said summer. So again, there's some other delays going on in other countries, and they're going to have to figure out what their selection criteria is. I know some people in India, and they said basically there's like no competitions right now. So depending where you are in the world and how things are going with the pandemic, the competitions might be all up in the air as far as local level and national level. And like I said, in the next couple of videos, I'll break down the Powerlifting America schedule and events and stuff like that a little bit more, and break down the USAPL schedule and events a little bit more. We can dive deeper into nationals and the Pro Series and all that kind of stuff like that. So you can subscribe so you can see those videos come up next. And until then, you can watch this video right here to get more powerlifting tips, tricks, news, and all that kind of stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.